draw it towards that animal. So you have what's called the orobranchial cavity. Orobranchial cavity. So oro meaning oral, the mouth. Branch means gill. So you've got a lot of space inside a fish, the anterior end of a fish. That space is the mouth cavity and then the gill area as well. And what a fish will do is expand that area. In other words, it will bulge out the sides. It will lower down the ventral part. These things, these maneuvers, will create a larger space. If you create a larger space, it is essentially a vacuum. Something has to fill that space. And so if you increase that space and open your mouth, then that space is going to become filled rapidly with water. So this is a suction mechanism. Now, any fish can do this to a certain degree, but what the Actinopterygii, many of them do, is develop a circular gape. So, if you have a fish, there's the fish, and he opens his mouth, okay? Now, we're saying that water is going to be sucked in because we created a larger space inside the orobranchial cavity. Well, there's the prey. The problem with this is that some of the suction that is created is going to suck in water from the sides. Right? That suction won't be directed towards the prey item that is of interest. You can solve that problem, and the fishes do, by, all right, there's my guy right there, and when he opens his mouth, he's got a piece of flesh on the side that is not going to allow any of the water from the side to get sucked in. Instead, only the water from the front gets sucked in to that animal. So just think of a eyedropper or a turkey baster, right? If you squeeze that bulb and then when it's underwater and then release it, you're going to suck water up into that. The suction that you're able to get is going to be much greater with a standard tube. If you put holes all along the side of it, you will not develop as much suction at the point of that turkey baster or eyedropper. Okay, they can do this because they have movable elements of their jaw. That's the maxillary bone. This would be the lower jaw. Here's my happy fish. What they'll do is something like this. And then so they're able to slide that upper jawbone forward. So this is in the closed position right here, upper jaw next to lower jaw. But as the fish opens his mouth, it starts to rotate that maxillary bone forward. And as it does so, this is all skin over here. So we have a circular gate. This is nothing but skin. We can accomplish it because we have these movable jaw elements in a fish. Ooh. And I lost a piece of notes. Well, okay. There are other elements in that jaw And some fish are able to throw out the premaxillary bone in front of this maxillary. The premaxillary in particular in the fish it's studded with teeth. And what that jaw protrusion is going to do is to bring those teeth-bearing elements closer to the prey item. So you're getting it out there in the front and making contact, rather than having to wait until it's in your mouth. The other thing that jaw protrusion can do to you is, if you're not a predator, you can protrude your jaws and your teeth and use them as scraping structures, so that you can scrape food off the rocks, whether it happens to be invertebrates or algae or whatever the case may be. So jaw protrusion is opening up more niches. Circular gait and suction feeding is allowing you to feed more efficiently on prey. And then finally, the pharyngeal teeth. We think of teeth in the mouth area, but in some fishes, they have teeth back on the gill arches. So you have two sets of teeth. And this allows them to specialize to a certain degree, and they have different shapes to those teeth in the pharyngeal area compared to the mouth, allows them to process different kinds of food. So the Actinopterygii are exceedingly successful. They're successful because of changes that allow them to be more efficient in moving, more maneuverable in moving, and they have feeding adaptations that open up a large number of niches. These are suction feeding, the jaw protrusion, and pharyngeal teeth. Quick early, I want to show So this is just from the handouts. As you can see, it's number 7. But the important point is over here on the left. It's just a diagram, in more detail than what I can put on the board, showing the maxilla and the premaxilla and how they move when that jaw is open. So in A, that mouth is closed. And then in B, this is your lower jaw right here. This is your premaxilla, which would have teeth on it. And then this is the maxilla back there. Your circular gait then is going to occur because there's skin in that area. And in the bottom, this all has to do with the electrical activity of muscles and stuff like that. But I like this diagram down here because you can see the fish with its mouth closed, starting to open it. And then as it does so, you can see the bones sliding forward. And then with the stripes there, with the little lines, you can tell that it's dragging the skin forward. And so that area is going to be covered. And here then it is totally open. Again, they show you the maxilla and the premaxilla, and all of that area is covered to allow that good suction in a forward direction. Questions? A little bit, probably one of my more disjointed lectures, but we just need to get through the basics here. All right, I put out the rest of the jars, so all of them are out. You can take your break and come back and work on them. At some point then, after 10 o'clock, I'm going to put up a little PowerPoint show and see whether or not you can recognize fish yet. So I'll throw up a lot of outlines of fish and see if you can identify them.